Platinum is so close to breaking out. We're nearly there. Could range for a little bit. You never know. But should you be waiting? Probably not. We'll do all the rest of the stuff, the live gold, silver, platinum, Bitcoin analysis. And we will be talking about someone who is very close to me, at least in an influence way, someone I've actually never met. But we will be talking about Scott Adams in the first part of the show. If you don't want to watch that bit, if you don't care about it, that's completely fine. But it is my show, so use the time codes below to skip that part if you're watching this on the replay. But man, if you're watching this live, you really do get to enjoy every single thing we do here at Good Morning Stackers with me, Joe Main, live on X and on YouTube right now, including and brought to you by Scott Adams specifically. The synchronized slurp. If Scott Adams had not been a person, you would not be doing the synchronized slurp with me. I'll talk about that in just a second. But this is where you grab a tasty beverage. I grab my tasty beverage. We slurp them synchronously together. It is a persuasive bonding tool, whether you knew it or not. You must do it audibly. You must do it wherever you are. And I don't care if you're in your meeting, in a whatever, you're in the privacy of your own home. We slurp it together, and that's the little thing we do together all at the one time. Ready? Let's, what's it? Hands across America. Slurping across the world. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, you might notice that my energy is a little bit different today, but I'll explain the reasons why. I am Joe Main. Who the hell am I? A random Aussie dude from Melbourne in Australia, going out live on X and on YouTube right now. I've been a stacker of precious metals since 2010, stacker of silver. I've stacked Satoshis and crypto since 2013. I've been stacking skills, or talent stacking skills, as the phrase might be, for quite a long time. And now I do this week daily live show. I also work for 3 of the major gold and silver bullion dealers here in Australia as well. Let's do the shout outs to the amazing community. Give me 1 second though, because what I might do, if you can just bear with me just for a second, I am going to do the thing I should have done earlier. So, which is to edit this thing. I did it earlier live on X. This is really bad television now, but you're not even seeing the screen. I'll go there and there. So can you just talk amongst yourselves for just 2 seconds? I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to do that one. I'm going to go, it's Good Morning Stackers, May 20th, 2025. We'll go there. Platinum. Let's see, gold. I'll go gold. Sorry, gang. Thanks for your patience. A little bit funny this morning. Gold and BTC. And I'll put in here for good measure, probs, some, I'll say H, whatever. Those two. Sure. There we go. That'll do. Cool. Let me go back to there, and I'll go back to here. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Normally, it's a little bit of a better flowing show. Speaking of the show, though, did you know the show is brought to you by Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, and Start again. Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, and Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com. Let's do some shout outs, then we'll get into my mini topic of the day, then we'll talk about all the other stuff. Silveruga says, hello, Joe, good to see you, my friend. Good morning to ya. Good morning to ya. I'll hit the like and run for the hill. I hit the like and run for the hills. Be back. Yes, indeed. It is a great time to accumulate on this credit score scare before readjustment or manipulation of platinum. Yeah, you could absolutely be right. Let me fix that a little bit better. GMS says, Richard Pin, hopefully the bearish divergence on BTC has played out. Yo-yoing isn't fun. No, it's not. Don't trade the chop is the short answer. I did put a couple little short positions on some alts yesterday. In particular, I was shorting Sol and I was shorting Hype. And I made a tiny little bit, but then I gave some of it back because I had to hit my stop loss. Let's see. Please like and subscribe. Yes, please. That would be absolutely wonderful. Huzzah! Morning, Joe. Morning, Jason. Good to see you. Yo, synchronized slurp. Chat mum is in the house. GM. Good. It's GM Metamint. It's GMS. Good morning, stackers. Morning, Tony. Where is gold going? We'll take a look at that today. Mon, good to see you, my friend. GM gang, GM Jason. Cool. You guys are going to have to bear with me for 5 minutes, 10 minutes while I talk about something important that is to me. Okay, ready? This show would not be possible. Literally, would I be doing a version of this show? Yes. But I wouldn't be doing this version of this show in the format that it currently is. I may not have even been doing this show, actually, quite possibly, but definitely not in the format. Week daily live show, synchronized slap and all that stuff isn't, if it weren't for one person, which I've spoken about many, many times before, that is Scott Adams. Scott Adams is the creator of the Dilbert comic, if you remember that from the 80s and the 90s, that famous workplace thing, and I'll share some things in the moment. So, look, I'm just going to talk about it. It's my personal thing, and I'll do that. So, as you know, Joe Biden, recently the news came out about Joe Biden and cancer. Actually, I talked about that yesterday. Every morning, when I wake up in the morning, I download Scott Adams' podcast. He does a daily live podcast, not week daily, every single day. I've been listening to Scott Adams for 10 years. So way back when he was, if you guys remember the old app called Periscope, it was linked to Twitter. It was a live streaming app called Periscope. He was on Periscope back then. This is before he really, started blowing up. Before it was getting into him just in the time where he started talking about Trump. 2015, he said, Trump's going to win. Trump's going to win, man. And everyone's like, you're insane, man. Ha, ha, ha. And then, Trump won. And then Scott just went. He had a second revival of his career as such. He was huge in the 80s and 90s, was always still big with the Dilbert comic, but then came to notoriety for its sort of a different subset of stuff. Anyway, so I downloaded the podcast this morning and, just listening to it as the usual thing. And I go, oh, okay. He hasn't talked about Joe Biden's cancer thing yet because it just happened. So he'll obviously mention it on, the next podcast. So I wake up in the morning, I shot my coffee, I down my water, my salted water, and I turn on Scott Adams. And so he goes, bit of news, obviously Joe Biden's got cancer and, we wish him the best and all that sort of stuff, which is, similar to what I said, you don't wish harm on anyone. And he goes, and I have an announcement of my own. He announced that he has the exact same prostate cancer, metastasized to the bone, and no hope. So I'm just going to share that. So I want to talk about that today. He's not dead, by the way, but he's someone who has influenced me over the last 10 years, probably really changed. I mean, a lot of the concepts that I've talked about here at Good Morning Stackers about persuasion and this, that, and the other, the way I have a filter on the world has directly come from the influence of Scott Adams. Okay, and as I said before, let me explain this, and I'll show you who the hell he is. And the guy's not dead yet, but he hasn't got long to go. And again, if you don't want to watch this part, just do something else. But I'm going to do it because it's my damn show. So this is Scott Adams. Okay, if you're not familiar, this is the Dilbert comic, which has been around again. It was since the 80s and 90s. He was still doing it, okay? And I think he's just stopped doing it, obviously, for some obvious reasons. He's in real big pain. He still does the week daily live show. He does the daily live show, but that's the only thing he can do at the moment. So he announced it today. Okay, this is Scott Adams. If you don't know what he looks like, that's him right there. Okay, that's Scott. Not looking as, he was always been bald, basically. So he's not got that cancer thing going on. So that's Scott. Anyway, I listen to him every day. I highly suggest if you get a chance and you don't know who he is and you want to learn more, just go to his, start watching his daily live streams because he's still going. He'll go until the end, apparently. Anyway, what was I trying to say? A little bit frazzled today. So anyway, go back to here. Let's see. So he does what, and I've spoken to you guys about this many times before. Back in the Periscope days, before, the daily live streams, he came up. He would get his coffee, and he would just kind of drink his coffee with them and go cheers. And then he came up with the simultaneous sip. Now, as I said in the very first show, my very first show of this show last year, I said I've completely ripped this off of Scott Adams. I gave him the credit, but I also modified it. Instead of calling it the simultaneous sip, I called it the synchronized slurp. I think adding the slurp feature adds something different, and I think some people get the ick for it, but I had to do it, something different. So anyway, another 3, 2, 1, cheers to Scott with the synchronized slurp. So again, short answer is can you tell I'm kind of bit frazzled today. It's kind of hitting me hard. Yeah, hit me hard. So let's see. Where are we? Let me share that screen. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that you check him out. Okay. If you want to learn about persuasion, about all that kind of stuff, and I'd actually highly recommend that you buy these books, which no more books will be coming out. This is Dilbert.com. You've got Win Bigly. This is the book that has absolutely changed millions of people's lives. Okay, this is called How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. This was written, I think 15 years ago, something like that. All those big name influencers. If you've read books like, Something Habits. There's one called the word habits in it. Not the habits of highly effectual people. It's Something Habits. Anyway, they literally take and credit Scott for this stuff. So he was actually kind of the originator of talent stacking. He's written a brain called Reframe Your Brain, Win Bigly, and then he was also an author as well, like a fictional author. These books here, God's Debris and The Religion War, and I haven't read Lucky House right here just yet. Those two will blow your mind. The guy's an amazing author as well. Anyway, I'm waxing a little bit poetic on this guy that's not dead yet, but just want to make mention of that. So anyway, that's Scott Adams, and I highly recommend that you check him out and watch his daily live streams and all that. And now I'm rambling. And look, a lot of tributes are coming out at the moment because he has been, and I'll go back to here, just so you know, in terms of I'm probably doing this more so now because I have to talk about it because I can't get it out of my head. And also on the day that he dies, I'll probably mention it, but it probably won't be like a whole thing. Scott Adams has been a tool for good for a very long time. And I think what we're going to find out later on down the track when he passes away and all that, it's going to come out over years and years that people are just going to come out now and say, yeah, he did this, he affected that, he helped me with this, he helped me with that. But they're all coming out. Oh, Atomic Habits, thank you. Yes, it was Atomic Habits. So they literally quote Scott Adams in the thing. So Atomic Habits came out yonks ago, and that was based off his work of How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, which I have the book. Highly recommend it. It's the best read ever. He has directly influenced political policy. He met with, so much so that Trump invited him to the White House in 2018. So he met Trump and all that stuff and thanked him for his work. He helped him he basically really did help him get elected in 2016. So if you like Trump and you're glad that he was, in 2016 and then glad he's in again, you literally have Scott Adams as one of the main influencers. Scott Adams, Mike Cernovich maybe, and a handful of others. They are like the prime influencers. So you've got Scott Adams to thank for that as well. And you've got Scott Adams to thank for this show. I'm going to leave it at that. Cool. Anyway, Scott Adams, that's... you'll never see this. You'll never see it. You're still alive. You're not dead yet. Hope you don't, but you will. And you'd get a laugh out of that. You know what, Scott? If you ever see this, you know what? At least I'll save $8 a month after you pass away. That's a joke. I hope you get it. Anyway, a synchronized slurp and a simultaneous sip to Scott Adams. All right, let's get on with it, people. No more crying. I'm done. Cool. Let's get on to the day, shall we? We're going to talk about platinum. Platinum is on the move. As you know, it's in accumulation mode. It is almost about to break out. We're looking at it on the quarterly time frame, priced in US dollars, $1,002. The question is here, do you wait? Now, did I post that on Facebook? Yes, I did. Did I do it on the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia forum? Oh, you can't see it. Don't worry. Do me a favor. Can you follow me on Facebook right now? Thank you very much. That would be good. Facebook.com/TheJoeMain. Head over. Where are we? Here is platinum. Quarterly time frame. I just want to zoom back and show you the quarterly. Okay. And look where we are. It's very simple. We are in a massive accumulation mode. It's not going, and it's all accumulating at the top end here. So if I do this, It's pretty simple. I mean, you've got that downtrend line. That's pretty much, it's right there, right? You've kind of skirted against it. You could put it there if you wanted to. Sure, you can put it there, but close enough for Jazz, right? That's it. It has been ranging up there versus down here. You could call it that if you want to call it that. Something like that. That's what it's been doing. See, it's way more in the top half than bottom half. It's in accumulation mode. Look at the relative strength index. It's been accumulating as well. It will break, and it will very likely, unless barring some kind of, stuff that we can't see, it will break to the upside soon. Could it be, again, because it's a quarterly time frame, could it take another few months? Sure. Could it take another 6 months? Sure. The question is, though, do you wait or do you get in now? Because it is going to break, as far as we're aware. And when it does, it's in over a few months, it's going to do it pretty quickly. Okay? It's going to break out of this range, and then it's probably going to make a play for about 1,250, and then we'll obviously, range a bit and then onwards and upwards. The previous all-time high, 2,300 US dollars, I think gets taken out this time. In this next run. As you know, where gold goes, it's had its big run, its big first run so far. Silver and platinum do follow. It tends to be silver next and then platinum does it, but you never know this time. It could be the other way around. But even if I just let me take from this low, and now this only goes back to 1998. If I take it from this high and this low, gee, where have we found resistance? Support at the 0.236. Bang on it from this low and this high. So this low of $330 back in 1998. This high, isn't that interesting how it lines up perfectly with Fibonacci? And then you had obviously March of 2020 was a quick little dip. Okay, that was the liquidity grab. That's when some people went, oh no, I'm out of this game. It's COVID. Oh, we're screwed. Everything's going down. And all the people who went, oh, that's a nice little support level. Thank you. I will take that. That's a liquidity grab. It's probably triggered some stop losses for people who had long positions. And then it just rocketed back up. And again, it's just been hovering around this $1,000, $1,100 level for some time. So should you be waiting? That's your call. Okay. Do you have enough dry powder to get some platinum now? Maybe that's something that you would consider. Could it dip back down another $50, $100? Sure. What does $100 really mean in the grand scheme of things? Okay. Or do you want to wait? Do you want to wait for the pump when everyone else is talking about it, when it has gone out of the accumulation phase and it then goes into the public participation phase? Okay. Do you want to wait for there? Sure, maybe. Or maybe you want to wait for the excess phase, maybe, where everyone's talking about it. Okay, do you want to wait for that? Sure, go for it. Maybe consider not waiting. Not financial advice. Maybe consider getting into things when they're in their accumulation phase and they're looking like it's been a solid number of years, which it has. If we're talking 4 or 5 years of accumulation of platinum between this range here and this range here, might be the time, people. Now, I say all this letting you know that I am not back in platinum. I am also playing the ratios of other things. Okay, so when the ratios look good for me, I will be back in platinum, and I think I'm going to be in platinum in a much larger way than I was previously. So that's platinum. I'm not going to show the intraday because it doesn't really matter. Look at that. It will be breaking. It's just a matter of when. Okay, don't wait for it. In my humble non-financial advice opinion, let's take a look at gold. Where have we gone? Okay, look, out of interest, here's gold on the quarterly time frame. Let's do the big zoom out. Okay, gold on the quarterly. Okay, you can see this was just like platinum. Okay, platinum will be doing something like this, and silver. Accumulation, finally breaks out, and then it goes public participation, and then it goes into a mini excess phase. Now we're in a mini excess phase. I shouldn't say mini excess phase. We might be still in public participation, but we have rocketed. So do you want to wait for this? Do you want to get into platinum here, or do you want to get into platinum there? But anyway, talking about gold, quarterly time frame, 3,223. Let me go to the daily. I'm just showing you where it's come from. And everything's looking so far so good. We're still above, and it's good to see us above now 3,200. It needs to remain above this support level here, 3,200. We had the spike down to basically exactly that trend line. It was very, very close. As long as we remain above 3,200, then we're looking all right. Okay, if we break down below there, then yeah, okay, then watch out for maybe down to like 29.50, 29.80, something like that. Around your 3,000 kind of psychological value. And as I said recently, we really want to see it. If you want to see it climb, we need to see it climb and hold over 3,320 US dollars, because that is the top end of the zag zone, the expected major resistance range. Okay, you've got some trapped money right here in that thing. So right about in here, it might be some trapped money. You've just got to get through there. And then where are all the buyers? They're not there anymore. They were here, but they're not here. So if you crack through there, it's very likely we get a new all-time high in gold pretty soon after that. Some people are talking about around about sort of 37, 37.50, $3,800 level. I think I'd been talking about that a while ago. Could be wrong, but who knows? Who cares? But yeah, that's what you need to see. Close 33.20, and then we'll talk higher prices from there. Great to see it above 3,200. Cool. That is gold. Silver, like platinum, hasn't had its proper breakout yet. Okay. Got it. Its breakout level is the final boss of $35. Not a lot to say about silver. It's still doing its great thing, which it is hovering above the 0.382 from this low and this high. So it's hovering above $31.65 roughly. While we're above there, as I said yesterday, great news. Great. You bounce off the 38.5. You bounce off this level. Insanely bullish. Very bullish. You bounce off there and crack through there. Oh man, we're going to break 35 very quickly. So really, 33.70 will mean probably 35 very quickly. So we're just in this small range. The breakdown through 31.70, that's not preferable. Break above 33.70, so a $2 range. Break there, we're heading to 35. Once we head and break 35, then we're heading to 50, and then, sky's the limit. And I mean that, sky's the limit, because it's in undiscovered territory, okay? That is silver. Not a lot to say with that. I've just done platinum. Let me show you rhodium very quickly. Rhodium is fine. It has found support, and it looks like it might be breaking back through. This is rhodium. This is a physical rhodium tracker. It's tracking it at 1/10 of the price. So if you see $565 here, it means it's, you can't see that because I've got my thing in the way. Let me move that out of the way. That's what I should do. There you go. You want to see that screen there. Right here. If you can see 565, it means rhodium physical is actually 5,650, but you don't buy the physical, and I've explained all the reasons why you shouldn't buy the physical, at least here in Australia, for all those reasons I've said. Don't do it. You would need to get into rhodium through, probably this is the only tracker, I think. It's on the London Stock Exchange. The ticker is XRH0. Right here on the weekly, as you can see, it's been in an accumulation pattern also. I knew that would happen to me. Go away, you little shit. It's been an accumulation pattern. It had its massive move. Now that is 2,600 on this, but that means 26,000 US dollars for the spot price of rhodium. Again, this is the 1/10 ounce tracker, but this XRH0 has been as high as 2,600, 2,660 back in 2021. Definitely formed a range right there. Had that little peak there at 685. Potential double bottom. Well, it was looking really good. It's a double bottom off of very bullish divergence. We've seen this move right here. What I needed to see, and looks like what it's done, is I needed it to hold its expected support range, its zag zone. If you take it from this low and this high, we respected it pretty much exactly. We had a little spike down, so we went into the area. We tested the bottom of the area right there. And look at that spike too. Massive spike. That's a big, I think that's called a doji candle, I think. I call it the Darth Maul candle. Boom, boom, if you can understand why. Right? Little handle and on either side. And generally the way that the direction that the following candle starts going is the way it's going to continue to go, as far as I understand those Darth Maul candles to be. Because this was saying total indecision. It looks like it might be making its decision now, okay? It's through the 0.236, so I'm expecting, at this point, a break of 620. I'm expecting a test here. right here. I'm expecting a test, and that's at around about, gee, what do you know about that previous resistance there? Around about 680. And that's this downtrend line right here. So I think it's going to test here. What it does from here, we don't know. But you need this to crack through. Okay, if it does that, I would say, geez, that's looking pretty good for rhodium. You might be wanting to just be in silver or just be in platinum. You might just be a gold person, and that's okay. You don't mind dollar cost averaging, even though it's a pretty high price. It's already come out of its accumulation zone. Platinum hasn't done that yet, so you're pretty early to the race. Ooh, platinum's at $1,006 now. Interesting. Silver's, got to break 35, and then onwards, upwards we go. But if you just want to diversify, and like, oh yeah, a bit of rhodium, sure. This is what you would need to see. A breakthrough of about $680. I'm actually going to give, I'd say 680 is, you're looking very good there. Okay, break 680, and then you're very likely heading up to the next major zone. I would say would be somewhere in between here and here. Would be a nice setup for between 1,050 and 1,750. Okay, because I would say probably here is going to be your next major, because you've got a whole bunch of trapped money here. Buyers, buyers, buyers. They became sellers, sellers, sellers. So there will be some there. So yeah, you could do probably break 680, and that would be a really good level. And then you'd be looking at about a 70% increase. I'm not saying that you should do this. I'm saying just watch out for it, and I'll keep you abreast of the situation. Here it is on the monthly time frame. Look at that lovely monthly spike down. Again, to exact support level. Look at the relative strength index as well. And you can see this on the monthly time frame too. You can see that flattening out, and you can see that rise there. You can just see that. That's massive bullish divergence. So I am expecting rhodium probably to go higher now. I think we've probably bottomed. I would say we've definitely bottomed if we crack through that 6 kind of 80 kind of mark around about there. That would be looking very good for rhodium. Anyway, that's rhodium, and that's the precious metals. I'll show you copper just for shits and giggles. Here is copper. Not a lot to say. Okay, not a lot to say. Hasn't broken any major area yet. It's at the top end. You probably got to break about $5 to start talking higher prices. That's all I've got for copper, but bullish on copper in the longer term. Cool. Let's go back to some of your comments. Then we'll do Bitcoin, crypto, and I'll take a chart request if we have time. Let's see. Joe certainly has stamina to provide us a daily show. No, I don't. I've got stamina, but I don't have the time to do it. And I've got gigs and things on the weekend, so no. So I can't give you a daily show, sorry. I'm sticking with a week daily. Sorry to hear about the news about Scott Adams. Yes, I'm very sorry too. The guy's not even dead yet. Let's see. I'll thank him for his show. I'll thank him for this show, not the Trump show. Jason, man. Good day. I'm back. Good to see you, my friend. Credit score finally rearing its ugly head from bad practice in previous admin caught up. Yeah. Zig and zag, knackers. That's exactly right. Here we go. The old double bottom. Let's get a triple bottom. Jason loves a triple bottom. Doesn't he? Yeah. Anything else to talk about? Let's see. Cut. What does that mean? Cut something. Don't know what that means. But that's cool. Yeah. Cool. All right. Again, with you and the bottoms, Jason. Speaking of gold and some such things, of course, you should be purchasing from Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, best bullion dealer in all of Australia. I'm not joking. I work for 3 of the major bullion dealers. And by the way, I'm not in any kind of mood to be bullshitting people today. So I don't have time for that kind of stuff. So they really are the best bullion dealer. And I'm not joking about that. Ricky at Perth Bullion Exchange is doing an amazing job. Free shipping when you have 20 or more items in your shopping cart. There's the only bullion dealer in all of Australia that gives you free shipping. You should be screaming at... screw them, I mentioned them. You should be screaming at Bullion Now. Why aren't you doing free shipping? Why not? Why? Hey, where's my order? And also, why aren't you giving me free shipping when I have 20 or more items in my shopping cart? You should be screaming in a polite way, shouting from the rooftops to Ainslie Bullion, who I also worked for. Why aren't you guys doing free shipping? Why not? Can you tell how a little bit extra spicy I am today? a little bit tell it like it is. Yeah. By the way, anyway, I'll come back to that. Ask your bullion dealer, why don't you do free shipping? Why not? Perth Bullion Exchange has been doing it for an entire year. Is it that hard? It's not that hard. Really? Is it that hard? Come on. Get on with it, other bullion dealers. These are the best guys in all of Australia. Plus, they price match. If you can find something cheaper that they have in stock that, say, Bullion Now or Ainslie Bullion or Goldstackers or ABC or all of the other ones, I'm all naming them today. If you can find them cheaper at those big boys, just send a message to Perth Bullion Exchange and they'll match the price. Okay? It's so easy. They're the best bullion dealer in all of the land. I'll go back here very quickly before we get to Bitcoin and crypto and whatnot. Because I'm in a tell it like it is mode today, if you have any questions for me that you think I might be wanting to more tell it like it is, let me know. Because I probably will, quite possibly. Whether that be about bullion dealers or about anything. I might be a bit more tell it like it is today. I'm just in that kind of mood. Let's see. Let's go to, I'll go to here and then we'll go to Bitcoin crypto. Of course, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and crypto and all the other charts that we're looking at now because you want to be a better investor. Of course you want to be a better investor. Head over to masteringthemarkets.com, Australian owned, run, operated educational courses. Okay, you can do the 10-week foundational course, which teaches you the Dow theory and technical analysis foundations. Just helps you to be a better investor. If you don't want to be a trader, like a day trader or a swing trader or whatever, don't do that. But if you're an investor, you've at least got to learn about technical analysis foundations, Dow theory principles. I'm learning a lot of this stuff more so at the moment. Or if you do want to be like an actual trader and even do it as a profession, you can get sponsored by companies to trade their capital, and then you get a share of the profits of that capital. You can actually do it as a real business, okay? Be a professional trader. I'm planning on doing the year-long course, this one right here, starting in July. That's my plan at this stage, as it's been for a while. So look at that one. Or if you just want to be part of the Mastering the Markets community, join their free section, okay? Get all the stuff that they just post publicly on social media. But if you want the real juice, okay, the real alpha, this is where you join the Mastering the Markets Academy monthly subscription program, okay? For what you pay for what you get, it's really not that much, okay? I'll tell you the price. It's 250 Australian dollars per month, okay? Now, I'm sponsored by Mastering the Markets, so I do get complimentary access for, I was going to talk about these guys anyway, as you know. But look at the back-end stuff. You get the bi-weekly calls and sometimes ASX Trader. Let me just show you something they did the other day. Okay, they also have what is called the live trading floor. Now check this. Every morning and every evening on the weekdays, they have the live trading floor. Okay, so they go live during the opening session. So that's going to be in the next... they're actually live right now. I could join that event. You know what? I'll show you. I'm going to show you the back end. Let's join the event right now. Actually, no, it's on Zoom. Don't worry. Never mind that. You can join the event, and what they're looking at right now. They're looking at as the market is opening. Now, sometimes these are the interns or some of the other people in the community, but sometimes the educators jump on too. So ASX Trader jumped on the live session yesterday, and I happened to watch it at the same time, and they identified 2 stocks, and at the live that they were looking at and go, oh yeah, no, we're going to get into that now. So they got into it then. I'm actually going to share with you what those were. Okay, I'm going to share with you what they were, and I got into them too. Now it's with, of course, stop losses and all that. Nothing's guaranteed, but they actually noticed, and some of you will already be in EVN, Evolution Mining, but what they noticed was EVN. So I'm going to change this to there because I'm in this right now. I'm in EVN. They noticed something interesting on EVN on the daily time frame, and so they took a position. So I took a small position in EVN as well. I've got my stop loss set, okay, so that's fine. But they've noticed it could have a bit of a higher push to do with Elliott wave and a bunch of other things. And there's another one that they got into called LDR. And I'll show that. This is Load Resources. So where is that one? LDR, let me show you. LDR, LDR, LDR. Where is it, Joe? Okay, let me look for that again. LDR, okay, I'll go like that. Don't know why that happened. Load resources on the ASX. Okay, they noticed that it looks like it's breaking out of accumulation mode. So this is, by the way, I'm telling you stuff here that you would normally be having to pay for. Okay, so just bear in mind, I'm not always going to be telling you about these kind of things. Every time I get into something, I'm not going to tell you probably. Actually, no, I'll probably tell you when I'm into things, but I won't be telling you the second that it happens, okay? Because I saw this again on the live trading floor yesterday morning. It looks like someone said, oh, LDR looks like it's coming out of accumulation mode. ASX trader jumped on the call, jumped in and goes, let me have a look at it too. He goes, oh yeah. Okay, so he got a position into it too. So around about here on the breakout, and they're looking for, certain levels to be hit and all that kind of stuff. So I got into LDR, load resources as well, just so you know. So that's just some of the amazing stuff that you can get. That's just the live trading floor. You've got the weekly stuff, all that. Anyway, that's masteringthemarkets.com. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, etc. Ooh. Cool. Let me get rid of you. Nope, that's not what I want. And then we'll take a look at, we'll do some Toshi, some ACH, and all that jazz as well. I got to get rid of all this flotsam and jetsam. Let me get rid of that. Okay, here is Bitcoin on the weekly time frame price in US dollars. Whoa, we're back up 105,000, 106,000. Interesting little spike down. Now, some people may have tried to take a short position right here. Now, they might still be right, but man, I hope they've got their stop loss set pretty tight. So look at this on the daily time frame. We talked about yesterday this level. We were around about here last time. Okay, I think we were. We had a quick spike down to $102,000 roughly, and good news so far, I guess, is it is a quick spike down. Someone just mentioned before, was it on Bitcoin, on one of the subscribers there made a comment, is the bearish divergence over? So could you be talking about it on the 1 hour time frame? That's what you're talking about. Yes. Well, this is Gerald, I think it was, or Neil, you must have been talking about this bearish divergence. Yes, you would have been on the 1 hour where we had higher high. Oh, okay, now you've got all my crap here. Excuse me. Higher high, okay, and then a lower high on the relative strength index, okay? That indicates massive bearish divergence, okay? Let me get rid of all this for you. So massive bearish divergence, which said, okay, looks like we're going to have a bit of a dip. We've had that dip. Some people would have taken some short positions here. Some of them are still maybe, they probably would have been mainly stopped out. Okay, and then from this high and this low, what we would have needed to see is it break back through, and looks like it's doing it right now, break back through here. So overnight, our time in Australia, it's done that. So it looks like it might be breaking here. 106. I would say if you break that, we're going to see probably a test of the all-time high. So far, so good. Looks like we may have been faked out. You got to be wary of, anything can happen, double fake outs and all that kind of stuff, right? So break 107, you're probably going to be testing 109. As I've been saying, if it does break 109, you've got to watch out for the liquidity grab up there. That could be trying to grab people's liquidity, could be faking, like massive fake out instead of a breakout. So just watch here. Watch if it gets a little bit above 110, 112. Could tick over from there, but I will be following all the other people that are better at me than what I do, and you can imbibe it from me as well. But so far, I like that weekly spike. So we could be making a play here for the all-time high as early as of this week. On the monthly time frame, yeah, pushing up on the monthly, on the quarterly, it's looking good. Now, this is where it looks good to me on the quarterly. On the monthly, as I said yesterday, you don't normally see this thing where it goes once, twice, quickly, and then back into it for a period of time. But look, history doesn't always repeat. I do like on the quarterly time frame. Look at where we are right here. And we're in May. So we've just about got another a month and a half until the close of this quarterly time frame right here. You can easily come up further. And it looks like and I think I did mention this previously, if you can close this month above here, right there, that's very bullish. What we need to be careful of, and I did say this, if we have a bit of a spike here, if we make a higher high, you've got to be very careful of this. And this is where the liquidity grab could come into play. We make a higher high here, but that flattens out like that. That's a potential bearish divergence on the quarterly time frame. So just got to be wary. So far, looking like we're going to probably make a play for the previous all-time high. What we do from there remains to be seen. That's Bitcoin. Let's see others. The altcoin. Actually, I'll do. Okay. Bitcoin dominance has still found resistance where I thought it would, or where it did, and then I thought it would continue to do. So we haven't broken out. This is interesting. Altcoins might be in for a little bit of a run, a little bit of a mini run very, very soon. Okay. This looks like it's going to start probably ticking over. As Bitcoin dominance goes down, it's mean that's better for your altcoins. We found exact resistance in the zag zone, the zig zone, the zag zone. It's probably going to be ticking over. If it does find support here, then Bitcoin will continue to dominate altcoins. But if you do that, then it's a little bit more of a mini altcoin season. Okay, so that's that one. Let's show you others, which is interestingly showing some strength, I think. So altcoins might be on for a little bit more of a run, actually. We have not come back to retest this downtrend line, the big one. Look at that one. From all the way from December 2024, we haven't retested it, but we've come pretty close. Do you remember that this is actually very reminiscent to me of the silver? Oh, no, silver? No, it's not that close. Silver did not retest the downtrend line, and you don't always. No, ignore that silver thing. But you don't always retest exactly, but we've come very, very close. You can see if I get rid of all this crap here, you can see that we have found exact support at previous resistance right there. That's exactly where I have my alert right there. I'm going to get rid of that alert right now. Yeah, I'll delete you. Look at that so you can see it. Look at that. Major resistance, consolidation. Okay, and where did we consolidate to? From this low and this high, we consolidated down into the zag zone right there. It quickly broke through this downtrend line, the decline, and then we've basically retested it. All I would need to see is it break through and hold that line right there. Okay, so 265 billion is what I need to see it break through, and then very likely we have at least a test of here. So I think altcoins, quite potentially, if Bitcoin dominance is going to break down, which I think it will, I think altcoins in the next couple of days at least are going to have a little bit of a rise. So there might be some opportunities. Let's take a look at some potential opportunities right now. Let's have a look at ACH. How is that sitting? This is Alchemy Pay. I love it from a fundamental perspective, but I'm not back in because it's not over the technical levels that it needs to be. In order for me to be back in, it's got to at least close. Why have I got all this junk off? It needs to close at least above. I've got all you right there. Good old Alchemy Pay. We'll get to Toshi, etc. There it is right there. And let me get rid of you. No, piss off. Get your Joe tells it like it is questions in right now, because I'm really feeling like that at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, it has to cross that 3 cent mark, as we're saying. Very potential. Look at this on the daily time frame. Oh, you wouldn't say it's on the daily because it's like a possible double. Yeah, left shoulder head. Ooh, extended right shoulder. On the weekly time frame, you could say that. So on the weekly, yeah, look, on the weekly, you've still got an inverted head and shoulders potentially playing out. Left shoulder head, right shoulder. If you crack that 3 cent mark, which, by the way, why is that a 3 cent mark? Again, it's the power of Fibonacci, as I've been telling you for a very long time. And I just deleted it, so I'll show it to you again. From this high, watch this high and this low here goes right through. Is it from that high and that low? Yeah, it's close enough. Yeah, that's the reason why. 3 cents and the getting interested line right there. Cool. So if it cracks through 3 cents, I'm going to say you're probably going to be making a move to 4 cents. I would preferably like to wait for 4 cents. I'm probably not going to take a position here. I don't think it's showing enough strength just yet. So in the next couple of days, I probably won't take a position in ACH. I did do a little bit. Now Algo might be a little bit different. Here is Algo. I do like it. I might be keen to take a small position in Algo because it's finding support. We haven't broken through this major level, so I'm not going to be. I wouldn't take a getting in for the slightly longer term. I might just in the next couple of days take a very small position in Algo just to see if it gets up to here. Okay. So I might play here to here. Maybe that's just a 10% kind of thing. I'd actually probably play it from, and I might not actually. We're already in the zone. It's probably not worth the risk. The risk to reward is not enough for me. So I think for Algorand, I would need to see it break through 26 cents. And then you could say, if you wanted to, take a small position here on the breakout and then ride it up to here. Oh yeah, it's a 24% move. Again, the risk to reward might not be great, but you do have a bunch of trapped money here, which expect resistance in this zone right here, anywhere between 25% to, I would say 25% to 45% if breaking the 26-cent level. So if Algorand is one of your things, have a look at it. Let me show you. Bloody Fartcoin. I almost took a short position in Fartcoin yesterday because it was looking like it was going to continue down. It hasn't. I am looking for a short still on Fartcoin. So just so you know, shorting means where you're betting that the stock is going to go down. Be very careful with shorting. Don't use a whole bunch, if any, leverage. You can short with basically very small leverage, so don't expose yourself to too much risk. Okay. At the moment, I wouldn't say 100% it is going to continue down from here, but look at the relative strength index. Yeah, look, you've been forming a bottom here. You've been like a solid kind of base around this level. I would say if it cracks below there, that would probably coincide with, and you'd actually be saying, yeah, here, right here. So if you wanted to short something, I'd be shorting Fartcoin if it broke, and probably only until it broke 93 cents. Why? Because that confirms its change of market structure. Okay, so you've got lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high, double bottom, so not a lower high, higher high. Then you've got a lower high, you've technically got a higher high and a higher low. Lower. Sorry, did I say lower? Fuck me. Low, higher low. Sorry, higher high, higher low is what I meant to say. Not lower high, higher low. And then if you break here, something weird's going on. Why are you making lower highs? That would be the first one. So if you break there, you'd have to go, that's a change of market structure, and then probably heading on down. Okay. So that wouldn't be looking good for Fartcoin. That would be a really good opportunity. If you really put an alert on your own charts for 93.5, 94 cents, if it breaks there, you'd be wanting to very much consider shorting, and it could short quite a decent way, and you could make a decent little tidy sum. So I'm looking at a short on Fartcoin. Not there yet. Let's take a look at, not Pengu, let's take a look at Toshi very quickly. And what else were the ones that I mentioned? And then I'll do some live questions, etc. Oh, I said Doge as well. Okay, we'll take a look at Doge. Very quickly, just for the Toshi fam. Here is Toshi on the daily time frame, priced in USD. Not a lot to say at all. So this will be about a 30-second thing. It has not cracked above this 0.00075 level. And yeah, that's all you really need to know. But general crypto looks like it might be having a couple of higher days in the next couple of days. Could be wrong. And of course, as I said, you need to crack through right there, 0.00083 roughly, get through this zone right there, and then we'll say, okay, onwards and upwards for Toshi. That's all you need to know. Crack through 0.00083, looking good. Not there yet. Watch out for it. That's Toshi. And I did mention Doge for some reason. I think I was just, our EDV is crossing. Good to know. Thank you for that. Again, get your final question, get your questions in for me. Where is Doge? Did I delete Doge by accident? That's weird. Oh, it's up here. That's why. Okay, cool. Doge is still in my I'm in section, which I'm not in, but I'll take a quick look at it. Here's Doge, the meme coins of meme coins. Okay, I'm actually going to show you something else in just a second too. If you love Doge and you're like, it's the meme coin of meme coins, I'm going to show you a meme coin that you should probably also be in cahoots with Doge. Okay, this is Doge on the daily time frame from this high and this low. Where did we find resistance? Okay, I haven't looked at the Doge chart for a little bit, so I'm just going to show you here. Let me get rid of you. Nope. Let me get rid of that big one. Get rid of that big one for a second. The power of Fibonacci. This stuff is real, my friends. It is real. Why is it real? Probably a self-fulfilling prophecy. Some people will say it's magic, but markets zig and markets sag. After we went up to 48 cents back in November of last year, we had a low and a very confirmed low back in April of this year. If you have recognized that as the low, and you would have recognized it as the low because it would have started changing its market structure, all right? It started, so you have, and I'll do this a little bit better than I did it before, and I'll get it right. So you started having, you can't see those very well, that's fine. You started having lower highs and lower lows, cool? Just giving you a quick little lesson here, right? First, lower low, so lower low, lower high, 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 higher low, higher high. Once it changed market structure right there at 17 cents, oh, that's about 16, 17 cents. I'm going to show you something very interesting in just a second. That was a bullish change of market structure for Doge. Okay. Then you could have gone, oh, because it's changed to a bullish change of market structure, that was definitely the low now. So then what you would have done is you would have grabbed your Fibonacci and you would have taken from this high and this low. And then you go, okay, looks like we're in a bullish change of market structure. If it doesn't break back below that 16, 17 cent level, looks like we're going to have a bit of a pump. Where might we pump to? Well, somewhere between the 0.382 and the 0.618. Bang. Right there. Found exact resistance, basically, at the 0.382. So that's still the area you need to get through for Doge. Okay, got to get through there. And if we get through there, because don't forget, right here, trapped money right there. People who got into Doge back here, and went, well, it only pumped a little bit. Oh, I'm down. I'm not going to sell now. Okay. I'm not selling. It's like Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not selling, right? They're not selling. But if it gets back to here, some of them will. So you will expect some resistance in this zone somewhere. But if you can clear here at 35 cents, there's a few buyers up here. Okay. But you're probably looking really good for a further pump. Okay. I'll get rid of all this and I just want to show you that interesting. So basically the short answer is watch for a move into this zone here, resistance at 30 cents. If it can pump through 35 cents, you're looking good for higher prices to come. Okay, and I'm just going to show you, remember how I just talked about this level right here, as I said, which is where it broke market structure, right there. So it started forming a lower high, then a higher high, right there. Right, at 16, 17 cents. Now, if I show you, I'm just showing you the power of this stuff, okay? Rectangle, get rid of you, get rid of all the trend lines, get rid of all that crap and all of that crap. Let's go back and I'll show you the older school Fibonacci. Where is it? It's not that one. I think it's that one. Oh, am I wrong on this? Give me 1 second. Is it that one? Oh, am I wrong? Never mind. Am I wrong on something? Or was it... no, I might be doing something wrong here. Maybe it was a different level. Was it from this high and... was it from this high and this low? No. So am I doing something wrong here? Was it this high and this low? Okay, never mind. I had a max pain... Why did I have... I had a thing... You remember my max pain level on... Oh, my max pain level was just it wasn't a Fibonacci, it was just a horizontal line. There you go. It's my max pain level right there. There you go, max pain. Okay, and I had it at 17 cents. I don't think that was a Fibonacci, but for some reason I had it there, and that's your change of market structure. Ignore what I said. I think it was because it was previous resistance. Okay, ignore that. That is Doge, and I don't want to talk about any other crypto. Let's take some. Let's take some questions or chart requests or some. Yeah, multiple F-bombs today. Yeah, I just don't have the time and patience. The old Arthur Daly. Let's see. Any tell it like it is questions? Ask me anything you want. More crypto, more accumulate. Stay your path. Improve on your big dogs. Dollar cost average as best you can. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. I absolutely agree. Shit. Oh, I don't know if I want to tell that story. What happened with you and BN? Thank you for asking. That's not one I want to talk about yet. I apologize. Yes, but the short answer is something did happen with me and BN. So I'll give you. I'm not going to tell the story. I won't tell the story. But it did. It did, unfortunately, and no one knows about this. Fuck it. Will I just do it? Yeah, you asked. All right, cool. All right, we're going to get a slightly extended thing here. What happened with me and BN? Cool. So, yeah, all right, I'll tell the story. Actually, other people do know this story, so I'll tell the story. What happened with me and BN? So you asked because you may have, I don't know what you heard or anything like that, but as you know, so I was Bullion Now's first employee. I'll tell the story. I was Bullion Now's first employee. Launched and grew the YouTube channel, me and Michael, like this, for a good 3 years. And then, I'll give you the short version. Then in 2022, I'd always been, stacking crypto and blah, blah. And here's the massive, huge, the world's biggest mistake that I could have ever made in my humble opinion. Well, I've made many mistakes. I've made many mistakes. But this was a big one, in my opinion. And this is my fault. This part of it, my fault, completely. In 2022, there was a point, and you guys know, you would have seen in 2022, early-ish roughly, a video came out and it was with me on camera and saying, I'm leaving Bullion Now. I said I think I was semi-retiring for something, just kind of managing my investments and all that. The short answer is I made a huge mistake, and I decided to retire because crypto had been doing so well for me. And it had been. Now, I don't think I want to give away numbers. I'm not going to give away numbers. There was a point in that time where I guarantee you, if you had have been doing the numbers that I had been doing, and that if you had have had a basket of investments that were doing as well as they were doing, and if you were forward projecting, if this thing keeps going, then, and you probably would have considered doing the same. I did the wrong thing. I decided, I'm so good at this crypto thing and this trading stuff, I think I need to focus on it. Trust me when I tell you the amounts were very large, and it was large enough to go, I walked into the office one day and to Michael, and I won't talk too much about, but by the way, love and respect Michael. I have nothing but the respect for him over the long term. So I just want to put that out there. And Michael, if you ever watch this, let's chat. But I walked in one day and I said, he knew I was into crypto. He was getting a bit into crypto too. I kind of convinced him. And I said, I did the stupid thing where you show someone your portfolio. Never do that. That is the top signal. I've talked about top signals before, where you're showing someone your portfolio tracker thing, and you go, look what I've got. I walked in and I told him something, in particularly I said, look at what I'm currently making per week, for example. And he took one look at that and he goes, what are you doing here? Like he didn't say quit. He goes, man, what are you doing here? And I said, yeah, I know. So it took a number of weeks. I had to get some affairs in order. I put in some legal structures as well. I spent a good bit of money on legal structures. And I got that. And then we announced that I was leaving and all that, did the video, did that stuff. And then I left Bullion Now. And as some of you would have seen on my old Joe in General YouTube channel, I started doing some videos, some more videos over there. And, I hired an office here in this general area that I live in. I hired an office. I was going in. I was just managing my investments and doing that and feeling really good about myself, about being semi-retired and all this kind of stuff and doing gigs and all that. Life was looking great. And then what did crypto do? What didn't I do? Sell, sell, sell. Really bad. So it was a very bad time. And it got to the point where I forward projected and I went, man, I really shouldn't have left Bullion Now. So then what I did, I'm telling this whole story now. Okay, screw it. Thanks for listening. I then contacted Michael and I sent a heartfelt letter and a heartfelt message. I said, man, I'm really sorry. I think I would love to. I think I need to come back. I don't see how I'm going to, I want to be back into the industry. And what I said at the time, and I absolutely meant it. Absolutely meant it. It wasn't bullshit. I said, if I come back, and I've always been loyal to the company. I thought I'd always been loyal to the company. I said, you've got me. Like you've got my loyalty. You've always had my loyalty with Bullion Now, as you know. First employee, launched and grew the YouTube channel, all the epic unboxings, anyway, all that stuff. And the camaraderie that I'd had with Michael and everyone, right? We built, me, him, and another one, my old boss from Goldstackers. Sort of me and him, we built that community. Of course, Michael doing the amazing Michael things that he is, but I had to push him to be, hey, be on camera and do this, and we built this thing together. Anyway, I'm rambling. So short answer is, I came back to Bullion Now, but unfortunately, and this is where it gets unfortunate, my position as the social media content creator had already been filled. And it had actually been filled, obviously, I had to give some notice, so I had to find someone. His name he's not there anymore, he wasn't there that long. I've forgotten his name. He was a lovely guy, though, but he took over from me. I think it wasn't Colin, or something or other. Lovely guy, though. So, I left, he took over. And I'm like, I think I really need to come back. Could you help me out? And Michael goes, yes, but... And I said, obviously, I know I can't get my other job. Is there anything else available? He goes, well, yeah, we needed full-time people, but here's the deal. You're going to have to come back full-time. And I said, yeah, I get it. So my deal with Bullion Now was I worked I was working 3 days a week, and I was getting in at, that 9 a.m. time, but I was leaving at around about 3 p.m. I think it was 3 or 3:30 p.m. because I live, in the Geelong kind of area. It took me like an hour and 3/4 or 2 hours to get home sometimes. And I had, young children. I had a pregnant wife, the whole deal, right? We just had our second, I think it was. Second. Yeah, I think it was about a year old, something. So, I had to be home. I couldn't get home at like 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night to see my kids for 2 minutes before they're in bed, and one of them's already in bed. Anyway, that's why I left it. I would leave work at like 3:30. But then coming back, it's like, well, I can't do that part-time social media stuff anymore. So, Joe, we really need people on the phones, which we always did. There was a period where I was just like on the phones and emails during COVID, etc. I was working from home, just like this, speaking to all you lovely people, kind of like doing it 9 to 5. So we said we need a 9 to 5 person and 2 people. So it was me and, Matt. So it was me and Matt. Of course, you know Matt, love Matt. He's amazing. So it was me and Matt. So I went back full time. Unfortunately, the full time wasn't 3 days in a week anymore. It was 5 days a week. Okay. It wasn't 9 to 5. It wasn't 9 to 3 anymore, 9 to 3:30. It was 9 to 5. I knew all this. I got it. Now I'm going to give you I'll keep going. So in between realizing that, crypto, I fucked up. Okay. And this is the lesson which you should all learn. Don't think you can retire because you've got this massive portfolio. Sell your shit. Okay. Anyway, in between the time of realizing I need to go back to work, I'm going to try, obviously, to get back into the bullion industry. I'm going to call Michael straight away and say, hey, can I come back? He needed to think about it. Fair enough too. I just left like a few months previous. And he needed to think about it as well. And in between that time though, I also reached out to other people. And I reached out to other people to say, hey, this is what's going on. I think I need to go back in. I got some suggestions of other people to speak to. And those other people I spoke to were, well, there was a couple of others, but I also spoke to Ainslie Bullion. Okay, so as you know, I worked for Ainslie for about a year and 10 months, something like that. I'm really getting into the story, aren't I? Thank you. I am going to tell it like it is today. Thanks for that, Knackers. So what do you need to know? So in between the time, and I was open with Michael about this. I went in with it for a meeting with Michael, and on that same day, literally that same day, I also met with Ainslie Bullion. Okay, so I went in, had a meeting with Ainslie Bullion. They were thinking about getting a social media person because I'd seen their stuff and it was like really shit. It wasn't good. I'm really telling it like it is. Ainslie Bullion were doing not a good job with their social media. They were basically, they had hired a company that was basically doing just like sort of copy and paste kind of stuff. Wasn't great. And so a good mutual friend of me and Michael's suggested, well, why don't you give blah, blah, blah at Ainslie a call? So I did. I checked out their social media and I said, look, your social media is kind of lacking. I'm looking to get back into the thing. Why don't we have a meeting? So I had a meeting with them in the morning and then I went straight to meet Michael at Bullion Now and I said, I've just come from Ainslie, just letting you know, right? So I don't know, what's going on there, all that kind of stuff. So I'd sent them an email. I'd sent an email of stuff to, the short answer is I'd sent an email to Ainslie of, good meeting. Here's what I think you need to do. And here's how much I would cost and if you want to hire me. And then I met with Michael and we talked about, should I come back? Here's the deal. It's going to have to be full-time, 9 to 5, blah, blah, blah. So I needed to think about it too. So short answer is a couple of weeks, like a bit of time had gone by and I hadn't heard back from Ainslie. Okay. And it's like, well, I need to go back and I love Bullion Now and all that. So I said to Michael, okay, I'm back in. Cool. So I came back in. You guys, maybe some of you would have seen, like I got my name mentioned on the live streams a couple of times. I actually wanted to not be seen as coming back for a little bit. So I didn't really want people to know, but it was kind of hard not to. Also because I said, and me and Michael at Bullion Now agreed, let me come back on a 3-month, like I'm joining the company for the first time, the 3-month probation period. Because I said, I don't know what's going to happen with this full-time thing. I'm going to be getting home now at 7:30. I don't know how the stress is going to be on the family and all that. And he's like, yeah, let's just do a trial period, And so it's like, if I just say, I don't have to give notice and I can say, hey, I'm leaving today. So about 3 weeks worth of time went by that I was back in Bullion Now, and it was really fucking hard on the family. Okay, really hard on me. I'm getting home at dark. I'm not seeing my kids go to bed. All that kind of stuff is really fucking hard. Plus it was, I'm used to talking to the customers and all that. That was fine, but, it was a different vibe. You've got the other guy doing the social media. Cole, his name was. Lovely guy. He was doing it great, sure, but it just wasn't working. And then what happened is a couple of weeks after I sent the initial email to Ainslie, they then come back to me, right? So I'm already back in Bullion Now, and Ainslie come back to me and agree to my terms. Now, I'm going to not tell you what my terms were, but my terms were even better, basically, than my part-time at Bullion Now. So I obviously shot for the moon. I asked for a higher hourly wage. I said, these amount of days per week. I said this, that, and the other. And I said, if you want me, that's what I am. They came back and they said, yep, okay, we've had, sorry, we didn't get back to blah, blah, we've had time and da, 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 da. Yeah, good. So then I'm in a real quandary. Okay, so then I had to go, well, shit, I have the loyalty and the love of Bullion Now, and I also have the loyalty and love of my family. Which one comes first? My family always, 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 always will come first. So unfortunately, and this is where it gets really sucky, okay, really sucky, and it's hard to think about. It's actually hard to talk about. Oh, not a good day to talk about this shit. But you asked, Knackers, so you're going to get it. So on a Monday morning, so it was the Monday morning, And what I had to do was I had to schedule. I just sent Michael's wonderful admin person, who I won't mention her name, salt of the earth. I sent her a message saying, "Can I have a little meeting with Michael straight after the morning, the morning huddle that we would do?" And in the morning huddle, Michael announces, "Oh, we've got some brand new." He was looking for some new employees to do this and the other. And he said, look, we didn't let we had to let this person know that they didn't get the job, and this person. And in my head, I'm going, I'm about to leave. Shit, I hope that person hasn't found another job. I hope they can get that person back. Anyway, the short answer is I walk in, and I'm not going to, no. So what I will not do is tell you what private conversations happened. So no, I'm not going to go that far. But I can tell you that I explained the situation. I first explained this isn't working. It's not working, and it was like, yeah, I get it. There was a lot of empathy. It was, I understand, coming from the part-time for this, the family comes first. That was the first part of the conversation. And then I dropped the part of, now I've got to let you know I'm now working for Ainslie. I will be working for Ainslie. And because it was just basically, it was an offer that I couldn't refuse. From that second onwards, I have not spoken to Michael since then. Not a single word. I unfortunately, and I get it, and I'm not throwing people under the bus. I'm not meaning to, but from that second where I mentioned that, there was a couple of extra words. They were quite heated, and then I was basically escorted out of the building. And again, I say this with love for Michael and respect for Michael. I get it. I get the reasonings why. I've got my issues with the way that was. He will have issues with the way I handled it. I didn't feel like I could handle it in any other way than how I did. And also I have issues with the way that he handled that news. Okay. I get it, but we haven't spoken since. So that's the deal. So the short answer is that's what happened with BN. I have spoken to some of the other guys in the thing. I think Matt wished me well. He said to say hi. I've had employees come in. I was working at Ainslie. They'd come in and say g'day and stuff like that. But yeah, so I haven't actually spoken to Michael since then, unfortunately, and we are still not on talking terms. We haven't reached out to each other. I probably should. I'm sure if I did, it would probably be like, jovial, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's what happened with BN. There'll be a bunch of comments about that. Let's see. What would Joe do? Yeah, what would Joe do? Don't retire off your apparent crypto winnings. Don't do that. Let's see. I'm going to go down here. All right. I didn't spill too much, but that's it. Thanks for sharing. You are welcome. A survival story is what most people would do. Yeah, I had to survive. And unfortunately, I had to really, what I think it was, good morning, Sino. What I think it was I honestly believe the following, because me and Michael were really tight. And I believe that I really, because mentioning the Ainslie thing, like going to the competition, and all that, and it became such a shock. I think it was like a friend telling them they don't want to be their friend anymore. Like, I think he took it. I took it personally. He took it really personally, which I understand. But I don't think it was as much. It was, of course, the business. You just come back now. I've got to find someone else and do all that stuff. But I really think, because we were so tight, man. We were really tight. I mean, look at the camaraderie that we had in those videos. That shit you can't force, right? You can't force it. Yeah. So, yeah, that sucked. That sucked to lose that kind of friendship, really, because we haven't spoken. And yeah, I won't go into the rest, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that I was sort of helped with, and I have a lot of respect for Michael and a lot of trust and all that. And we talked about a lot of different things. I could talk about lots of personal stuff with him. He would do the same with me. So it was a real good thing there, and that got, unfortunately, It is what it is. Lesson, as long as you learn from them, are valuable. Talking and sharing is the best therapy, Joe. Absolutely agree. You know what? I got to get out of here. I don't like this show. I don't like this show being not a positive thing. But anyway, it is 10:48. But Knackers, you got it out of me, mate. It was Tell It Like It Is, and you asked the exact right question. I wish you hadn't have, but you got it. I'm not going to share this particular segment or anything else like that, but it's now out there in the world. If someone finds it and they're interested to know what happened, that is what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, you have watched Good Morning Stackers. I'm still going to dance it out. Yeah, is what it is. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. All right, I'm going to share the screen, people. Not share the screen. I'm going to do our final synchronized slurp, our simultaneous sip, and we shall get out of here. Am I muted? Yes, I am. Good. That is good. Ladies and gentlemen, you have watched and grab your beverage. You have watched.
Good morning, Stack. Oh, yeah, we're feeling fine. Good morning, Stack.
No worries, Jason. You're welcome. Grab it.
Grab a tasty beverage.
Let's do the simultaneous sip for Scott Adams. 3, 2, 1, go. Love your work, people. Stay safe, stay informed, keep stacking whatever you're stacking, and I will see you. And thanks for your well wishes. I appreciate it. Your warm, kind words. See you all tomorrow morning for the live stream. Bye-bye.